properly. But yeah, so just doing a little mini blog here. I was curious about that hungry test, about the laser test. I was trying to see if they ever put anything out on that, and it doesn't look like they ever did. So they're supposed to have a test in Hungary over a lake, a laser test, and I don't seem to be able to find it anywhere. Hi, Nana. And anyway, if anybody knows about that test, if they ever came out with any results for that test, shoot it my way. But I don't think they did. Everything I'm looking at is like 1 year old, 2 years old. And the most recent laser test, I would say, was probably George's. George, I can never say his last name. Hintich, however you say it. And I haven't seen one since then. So if anybody knows about the results of that laser test, let me know. But this is kind of a mini rant, I guess, because it just occurred to me that really the most precise, best laser test ever is 15 minutes from my house. And it's amazing that it took me so long to actually think about that and actually put it together into a video blog form. But I live right down the road from LIGO. And LIGO has 2 lasers that shoot 4 kilometers down these pipes. And so it just occurred to me today that, hey, 4 kilometers, they'd have to take in Earth's curve. And so I jumped over to Metabunk and I threw in 4 kilometers, viewer height 0. And yeah, there's going to be a drop of 1.26 meters. Now, I'm looking at this particular one without refraction because they are in vacuum tubes. So you can even eliminate refraction altogether. You can just take that out of the equation when it comes to LIGO, which is great because refraction, especially at very low altitudes, is very significant. I mean, I've shown photography of lights, of city lights that have hugged up on the horizon from 24 miles away, and even though there's 200 feet worth of obstruction on the Marriott Hotel, you can still see city lights that are hugging up on the horizon. So the refraction there is 200 feet. You know, you're talking about 150 feet worth of refraction from. You're seeing something 150 feet below the horizon. Now, is it clear? Can you tell what you're looking at? No, but you can still tell that you're seeing lights. Even though it's clear that there's 200 feet worth of obstruction on the Marriott Hotel. And of course, flat earthers are going to use this to their advantage. See, not a lot of people have experience with that type of refraction and haven't seen it firsthand. So it's definitely going to be confusing whenever you see a laser from a long distance. But the question is, can you see a laser from, 30 miles away on the shore to shore? I find that very doubtful. Could it theoretically be possible based on my observations at the Marriott Hotel? Yeah, it could. Refraction actually could actually pull that around. Would it be clear? Probably not. I haven't ever seen it myself, so I can't be sure of that, but I can tell you that I have seen photographs with city lights being pulled up on the horizon from 24 miles away. Even though there's 200 foot worth of obstruction, which I've repeated over and over and over again. Anyway, so the point that I'm trying to make out is, sure enough, just thinking in my head, hey, how far is LIGO's arms are? I know that they're 4 kilometers long. There should be 1.26 meters. Has LIGO taking that 1.26 meters into consideration is the question. It took me like a 30-second Google search to find this right here. And if you slide down to the bottom right here, curvature of Earth, LIGO's arms are long enough that the curvature of the Earth was a factor in the instrument's design. Over the 4-kilometer length of the arms, the Earth curves down away by 1 full meter. Precision, concrete pouring, and leveling were required to counteract the curvature and ensure that LIGO's arms were level. Without this work, LIGO's lasers, which travel in a straight line, would arrive 1 meter above each mirror at the end of each arm. Now, isn't that interesting? So, 15 minutes from my house, basically anybody that was actually serious about this Earth curve, flat Earth stuff, and they actually wanted to go and take their own measurements, own observations, go and validate this paragraph right here. All they'd have to do is take a vacation to New Orleans, reproduce all of my observations, and drive to LIGO, which is about an hour and 15 from New Orleans, and go validate this. Are the arms actually taller at the ends? They do tours. As a matter of fact, I'll get you the phone number. Go call them yourself. Go take a tour. Here you go. Here's the phone number right here. Give them a call. Go down there, take a tour. They do tours. So why not? It's right down the road from my house. An hour 15 from New Orleans. Let's see. About 3 Lakeway Center. Hour and 15. There you go. So from 3 Lakeway Center, it's an hour and 15 minutes. So if you're actually serious and you're not just a troll and you're not just out to make a buck off of morons, because that's really what we're talking about, people that are just willing to pay scam artists money to be lied to. If you're not one of those people and you're actually serious about finding out the truth, take a vacation, go to New Orleans, enjoy New Orleans, bring your P900, make all these observations. You can hop over to LIGO, go take the tour. You can drive down here to the Atchafalaya Basin boat ramp, repeat all my observations there. I mean, there's really no excuse at this point, and it actually boggles the mind that that people can see the footage that has been produced by so many debunkers over the last 2 years, 3 years really, but the last 2 years specifically, when things have really gotten, I think the debunkers kind of had to play catch up for a little while. But once the debunkers finally started playing catch up, man, the observations got really good. We started polishing our techniques and started figuring out better ways to make these observations, nail them down, answering all the objections. And there's just super intuitive footage out there now that anybody can look at. And the question is, why is this still a thing? Why is this still going on? So going back to my original rant, LIGO is the most sophisticated laser test showing Earth's curvature there is, and it even removes the atmosphere out of the equation. It's shooting down vacuum tubes that are 4 kilometers long, and it has to be built to account for the curvature of the Earth. Game over. All these laser tests are ridiculous after that. Why? Why will we shoot lasers over water, through an atmosphere, which causes refraction? Through who knows what's going on in the atmosphere from here to there? When we have this prime example of a perfect, most accurate, most precise precision laser test that there is, right here in Livingston, Louisiana. Go there, see it for yourself. I mean, they do tours. It's that simple, So like I said, there's really this whole flat Earth thing has become a nonsense meme. I mean, well, it always has been, but I mean, it's gotten so ridiculous now. You have to completely abandon all reason at this point to still remain a flat earther. It's ridiculous. You have to invent excuses, come up with words that don't mean anything. It's freaking crazy. Anyway, so knowing that LIGO is right down the road from me, I am going to try and go on one of these tours, maybe meet some inside people, some engineers that will actually give me the full rundown, maybe some better access. The school kid tour is going to be limited in scope, but it would be nice to be able to go out there and say, okay, here's where the laser is. Let's go down to where the mirror is and actually measure, the distance and height, which based on just the shadows on Google Earth, I think is possible. So, hopefully I can get an inside scoop, find somebody to talk to, and actually go validate this or verify it. I mean, because obviously it's going to be verified, but just for the sake of having it on film, just another nail to shove into the coffin. So let's see what's going on in the chat over here. Let's bring this down. Let's see. Hey, not applicable. Thanks for the $20, man. Fantastic. What did you say? Does it tell me? Oh, you really enjoy my content. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm hoping to do some more content. Actually, on vacation, I had lined up 2 different shots that I wanted to make. One was from. Actually, I could show you this now. Let's see. So one photograph that I wanted to make was this one here, Mobile, which has a 700-foot tall building to this little pier. And where is it? Well, it's in Fort Morgan. Where's that pier? Is it over here? Where did I find that pier? Well, there's a pier with public access that I went to, so if I can find it again real quick. Let me see. Had to be up in here somewhere. Anyway, it's a 32-mile shot. There it is. It's right here. This is it. So I was at this pier right here, the Pines Park Public Boat Launch, and I got myself eaten up by mosquitoes. Man, next time bring bug off. The problem was that during the weekend of my vacation, it was really cloudy, lots of rain, and unfortunately could not see all the way to Mobile because of the weather. Just too many clouds in the way. But this shot right here, in theory, is possible. You should be able to see the top like 150 feet, I think, of the building. And it's lit up at night, so there's a couple pretty tall buildings there. You should be able to see over this water. So this was one of the things I had lined up, and obviously I'm going to have to go back. I'm probably going to go back next winter, I think, whenever I'm maybe guaranteed some better visibility too, just because things are getting hot around here and the haze is starting to kick in. The other thing that I did was Orange Beach, Perdido Key here. There's all kinds of condos, like really tall condo buildings, all down this stretch here. And I was out on this pier here. And from here, you can see way the heck down here. I think I was filming, where is it? It's one of these out here. I had one of these lined up. I'm not sure which one it was, but again, the haze was just killing me. That's a 13-mile shot. So that's another observation that could be made. I mean, there's so many opportunities for observations in Florida. If you don't want to go to New Orleans, you could go to Florida and make all kinds of observations as well. I was definitely seeing obstruction, just terrible, terrible seeing conditions. Unfortunately, it was raining during my vacation and hazy, and we just weren't able to get good seeing conditions over long distances, unfortunately. But so I did have some stuff lined up, but it looks like next winter is going to be my next fall, maybe earliest, or next winter is going to be my next set of observations that I'm planning. Because it's just right now the long distance stuff during the summer is just not cooperating. Just too much haze, and I've already taken those photographs a bazillion times. No need to go back. But anyway, there's so many observations that could be made, and this had me thinking about possible observations for other people to make. Uh, there's just so many different places you could go, like anywhere on the coast, like anywhere on the coast that has a like a touristy area, where there's big condos and big buildings like that. I mean, something as simple as taking a picture from Destin to Santa Rosa Island, 14 miles. I mean, that should easily be possible right there, and should show obstruction the same way as New Orleans shot over Lake Pontchartrain does. And anybody can find some beach somewhere, right? Go take a vacation. Of course, winter is going to be your best time to take those shots. But I digress. I am trying to stay focused on this ultimate laser test that has been done by the great, wonderful people of Caltech. Yes, Caltech owns the LIGO in Livingston, or at least they operate it. So, yeah. Anyway, hopefully I can get a tour over there. Hopefully I can get some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'll have to reach out to my connections and see if anybody knows anybody. I'm imagining that a lot of these scientists are imported from Caltech, and they don't actually have a lot of local connections, but we'll see. And again, this is out in the middle of nowhere, Livingston, Louisiana. Jesse, hello. Let's see who else has been talking. Let's see. Let me drag this back down. Let's see who else has been trying to communicate with me while I've been on my rant. Here we go. Okay. Sally, the laser is LIGO. The laser is, I guess the laser at LIGO makes many passes up and down each leg, not just a down and back. Yes. Yes, I think they have the thing running like long term. I don't think it's just I think it's sitting out there running the whole time. Oh, I see. Charlie's saying that the actual length of the laser path is longer than 4 kilometers. Got it. Make sure to wear your light exposing earbuds so you can pick out every time they try to fool you soundly. Yeah, I really doubt that people at LIGO even know what the heck flat Earth is or care. A bunch of back and forth. Got some bad news with the drones, Sally. At the eclipse, Sai was happy with his wasp kill. I am not so happy with the bird kill. It broke the right rear prop as it attacked the drone. Are you kidding me? Wait, a bird actually attacked your drone? Which one, Sean? The big boy? Oh, no. That sucks. Sean, you should be able to get the Voyager 5 props. What I heard last was that the Voyager 5 props are backwards compatible, and that's what they're going to be selling for the Voyager 4 stuff. Wow. Can't believe you lost a prop. I'd like to hear that story, Sean, if you want to jump in here. Jesse, of course, is coming up with some cool stuff here. I bet this is going to be precision alignment of the LIGO 4km arms using the dual frequency differential global positionings. Of course GPS works. Why wouldn't it? Ah, it's pretty cool, man. That's some cool stuff there. Wow. All right, Sean wants to jump in here. Let me not share him and get him in here. All right, I sent the invite, Sean. I'll also copy the link and send it to you. But you should have gotten a new room, hopefully, I think. My mic cuts out too. I don't know why. So if I stop talking and it cuts out, somebody just has to holler at me.
Hello.
Hey, Sean.
Oh,
So
sad
wait.
day.
So wait a minute. A bird actually attacked the Walkera.
Yep, it was a robin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've only been able to fly it once to test it out, how the gimbal operates, because I noticed that when you rotate the drone, the gimbal actually goes off of kilter. But I think that's because I actually haven't manually calibrated the gimbal at that point. So I was able to do the first test flight when the weather broke finally to let me fly it. And that flight went good. You know, I actually tested out the zoom, checking out the hospital over about a mile away. And that flight, no qualms about it. Well, yesterday I was going to go out and film the drone because I'm working on an intro video for the Voyager 4.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be filming it with a Mavic in flight.
Right.
Well, I put the Walkera up and I set it to hover at about 30 feet. And before I can even get the Mavic unfolded and ready to go, a robin flew out from one of the trees by the apartments and decided to attack the drone. Apparently, it was protecting its nest.
That is unbelievable.
Bird did not survive, and it cracked about halfway up one of the propeller sides on the right rear propeller.
So, okay, so the bird hits, and now what? Now, what's going on with the drone? Did the drone come down okay?
Yeah, well, it came down. It was a very, very hard landing because it was trying to correct for one rotor spinning faster than the other, and the one rotor being obviously off balance. So it was trying to speed up the one rotor in the right rear while it was slowing down the left front. So it was literally trying to rotate and tilt while I was trying to land. So it made a hard landing. It survived the landing. I checked everything out other than trying to refly it again. Everything works fine still.
Yeah.
I just need to get a new prop. Problem is, Walkera doesn't sell Voyager 4 props anymore.
Yeah, supposedly the Voyager 5 props are supposed to work. I got it from what was it? Drone or gosh, let me find it. Let me find it real quick. Walkera.
No, the rotors are fine, guys. It's just the physical propeller itself broke. Meanwhile, the bird was just about cut in half.
Drone. This is where I got it. UC drone. So Walkera.
So that broke my heart. I mean, I was like, and you know, all day yesterday after that happened, and all day today, I was busting my hump trying to find the damn Voyager 4 props, and there's nothing.
I swear that the last time I went to look, they were saying that the Voyager 4 was compatible with Voyager 5 props, and they were going to discontinue the Voyager 4 props and only start selling the Voyager 5 props.
You'll probably, UC Jones with the Washington site, isn't it?
This is where I got my props, the ones that are my replacement props.
Parts for Voyager. Yeah, I don't even have Voyager 5 parts listed. You got Voyager 3 and 4 listed, but not the Voyager 5. Crap.
Jeez.
Because they got the Voyager 4, unless Walkira, Voyager 4, Voyager 3. Apparently they're compatible. They're cross compatible for the 3s and 4s. But those are out of stock and have been since.
Well, I got them just before I went out to Minnesota, so I must have just caught the last back end of it or something. That's crazy. I can't believe they don't have props.
Yeah. So starting March 8, 2018, transitioning Voyager 3 and Voyager 4 propellers are replaced with these performance propellers, which are the ones that are actually on the site I'm looking at. You'll need 2 sets to start, obviously, so that's going to cost $30 if they ever get them in stock. But yeah, I went to the forums for Walkira, and everybody's complaining about not being able to get Voyager 4 props anymore.
That sucks.
So effectively, the drone is grounded for now. It's just not stable enough to fly.
Well, Sean, I don't. Let me see. Hold on one second. Give me one second. Can you hear me? Jeez, yeah. My mic cut out. My bad. So I don't have a new set, right? But I do have a set that I got, that my first original set that was beat up pretty good, but it's still good enough to fly. Like I was actually flying my drone with them.
Define beat up pretty good.
I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. They're just great. I mean, it's really not bad. I have one set that's pretty bad, right?
Right.
One clockwise, counterclockwise, that's really bad. But the other set is just scratched a little bit. It would work fine to replace whatever one that you need. So I could send this to you.
You guys just saying to duct tape it. Yeah, with things flying around at RPMs in excess of 900 RPMs, yeah, duct tape's not going to hold that very well. At least not and make it flyable.
Here, let me show you what I got, and you tell me if you want it. If you want it, I'll ship it to you. All right, let me see.
And one thing I don't like about the design for the Walkira props is that they're self-tightening. And I've actually tried to take that propeller off, and I'm scared to death to put any more torque on it than I've already tried. Because apparently, when it hit that bird, it totally over torqued it.
All right. So this is the one that's good, right? But you can see that it's scratched up, right?
You turned the drone upside down, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Actually, it turned itself upside down. I put it auto home, and it came down hard. But you can see, I mean, it's just scratched up. I mean, these are still flyable. I mean, better than yours, obviously.
Well, yeah.
And this is the other one, its partner. So I mean, it's still good if you want it. These are why I got a whole new set, though.
Holy crap! What did you hit?
Concrete.
Oh my god! You need to be light on the stick for landing, dude.
Shoes.
That's one thing I noticed on that first flight was that the thing is a beast.
That's the one that, I mean, that's the time where I did auto home and it came down and it like literally bounced off the ground and went upside down. The blades wouldn't stop turning.
Actually, from my one flight, noticing its actions, that has to do with the fact that it doesn't maintain altitude very well as far as tracking it. and it literally thought your home point was probably 1, maybe 2 meters below the actual ground level.
Exactly. You did something like that.
Yeah, the GPS in that is nowhere on par, nowhere close to par with the Mavic.
No. The Mavic.
I mean, even when I was flying it, I was noticing that it was kept on moving the home point on the map because it wasn't tracking GPS properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the GPS system in that is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
I'd much rather use position hold.
That's what I was, I guess that was the point I was trying to make, is that it's a nice toolbox. I mean, it's a nice toolbox item, right? It's nice to have the telephoto on a drone. That's really nice.
It's definitely not a beginner's drone.
Yes, but you have to practice with this drone. It's not simple like the Mavic. The Mavic, man,
the Mavic flies itself.
Yeah, the Mavic, you tell it, I want you to go here, and I want you to look that direction, and it doesn't budge. It's like going to that GPS coordinate, and it's looking in the compass direction you gave it, and that's it.
Yeah,
this thing kind of drifts on me. Mine does that.
Yeah, that goes back to the quality of the GPS. I mean, the Mavic uses like 4 processors just for GPS processing.
Yeah.
The Walkira just has the standard. Let's find 6 satellites, and we'll do our best. The Mavic's trying to get lock-ons with 14 or more satellites at a time.
If anybody else wants to jump in here, by the way, just let me know. I'll send you a link.
And just to answer Jason, I didn't hit a bird hit the drone. The drone was hovering while I was getting the Mavic prepared to fly.
Libre 61 Star asks, what drone do you recommend for a beginner?
Mavic.
Mavic.
Any of the DJI series.
Any of the DJI stuff is awesome, but the Mavic is just you take it out the box, you turn it on, you tell it to automatically take off, you tell it to go to a certain place, it'll go there. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, the Mavic Pro is probably the highest end beginner drone you're going to see.
Yeah. And it's not cheap, right? But it's definitely worth the dollars.
Well, it's a lot cheaper than what it first came out. Now it's like just under $1,000, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're getting ready to release the Mavic Pro 2, which that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
A lot of speculation on it, but one of the things that people are speculating is it's going to have interchangeable cameras.
I sure would like to hang a telephoto off of it.
Well, DJI does have that 30 times zoom camera that costs $9,000.
Yeah, I know. If only we could get sponsors, right, Sean? Even the sponsors don't want sponsors.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that $9,000 camera only works on the Inspire, which is a insanely expensive drone by itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with the interchangeable cameras on drones, is usually it's for very specific drones that have that ability. The Voyager 4 actually has 2 other interchangeable cameras. One of them's a FLIR, but that costs like $3,500 just for the camera.
Have you looked at the specs on the Voyager 5?
Oh God, yes.
It's like a spy drone, man. It's amazing.
Oh, dude, if you're gonna if you're gonna actually invest in Walkira, which from what I understand, they don't make the greatest technology for drones. I mean, they built their business on RC helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Single prop helicopters.
Yeah.
So drones is kind of like they're getting their feet wet with the Voyager series.
Right.
They're one drone that's actually a hybrid now. Yeah, that costs a lot more than the Voyager 5, but it's got a 2-hour flight time.
It costs more than the Voyager 5, which is already $17,000. Oh my God.
This is like a 23 to 25 grand drone.
That's crazy.
But it's got a 2-hour flight time because it is gas and electric powered. It's a hybrid.
That's amazing.
It has 3 batteries on it, and like a 1 or 2 gallon gas tank. It's an octocopter.
And wait, it has a what?
It has a 1 or 2 gallon gas tank. It's a gas electric drone.
That's freaking awesome.
But that's why it's got a 2-hour flight time.
Yeah.
Would I consider it a BMW drone? No, it's a big monstrous beast. And if the Voyager 4 has anything to say about their flight technology, it's subpar. just from the one flight that I had with it and how cumbersome it is to fly.
So there is this. There's two different types of modes for the gimbal, and one's follow and one is lock, I think.
Yeah, lock will actually prevent the gimbal from leaving its orientation from where you first turned the lock on.
Right. And so here's the thing: is that the gimbal is smart enough to know that it's being moved, right? And so it's correcting itself. Don't you think there'd be some feedback going back the other way, telling the drone, "Hey, you're turning, moron! Stop!" like.
Well, turning is one thing, but drifting is another.
Yeah, well, it's actually my problem is that the stupid drone keeps turning right to the left, to the left, to the left, and then eventually it gets to the border or the whatever the part where the gimbal can't turn anymore, and then it just swings around,
Right.
Then I have to correct the orientation of the drone and screwed up my video, do the video all over again.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, are you having the problem when you're actually turning the drone in either follow or in locked mode? As you rotate the drone, does the angle of the horizon drastically change?
Yeah, the roll changes. Yeah.
So you're having roll issues too.
Yep.
I think the gimbal's good, but I think it's a bad design for the drone. For the price, the zoom is worth it. To have something you can fly with an 18 times zoom, that's worth it. But the technology involved in it isn't that great.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. It's great because we were able to get footage that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. But just as in the grand scheme of things, as far as the drone itself goes, it's just not up to par. The control systems are just not up to par with what the Mavic does.
For the price and ease of control and ease of use, definitely go with a Mavic Pro.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unless you're looking for specifically that amount of zoom, which we actually are looking for, I would actually avoid the Walkera drones, in my personal opinion. Unless you wanted that zoom specifically, the technology is just not up to snuff.
Bought a helicopter. Shoot, I wish I could buy a helicopter. I had thought about, Wolfie did make this comment, kind of like a throwaway comment, but he probably meant it, and it stuck in my head that I should just rent a helicopter flight and bring a P900 with me and go do that.
Just to offer a suggestion, if you're going to do something like that,
but I'm not sure.
Get a handheld gimbal.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll help reduce the vibration of the helicopter, but it won't remove all of it.
Yeah.
And they run about $100 for just a low end one.
Oh, low end 3-axis.
Yeah, low end 3-axis costs you about $100. They go up to tens of thousands.
And it just attaches to a normal
it's just got a
mount screw.
It's just got a standard camera mount on it.
Yeah, that'd be worth doing. I'm wondering how much it would actually cost to rent a helicopter, though. It can't be cheap.
No, probably not. You're probably looking at a Voyager 4.
Oh man. Anyway,
yeah, that was so heartbreaking when I heard that bird hit the drone.
I can't believe that, dude.
All I heard was a thunk, and I heard a piece of plastic hit the ground like 50 feet away.
Then it turned out to be your prop.
It turned out to be a half of the length of one side of a prop.
And half a bird.
Well, the bird wasn't completely severed, but close enough.
Jeez.
Yeah, I didn't have the forethought to actually, use the Mavic to record the carnage, but I was more worried about the drone at that point. It was about 30 feet, Jason. It was just hovering, waiting for me to get the Mavic in the air. Because the shot I was planning on doing was putting the Mavic up about 150 feet and then have it orbiting empty space with the camera level with the horizon, and then raise the Walkera into the shot while the Mavic was orbiting it, filming it. That was going to be the introduction shot to the first flight of the drone for my introduction video. Hold
on. Matthew Meek, please explain your setup to get more zoom than a P900 with a micro four thirds. What type of lens adapter and what type of lens are you talking about? No, I don't see how it's possible to be cheaper. I'd be really surprised by that. The P900's crop, the crop factor is what makes it zoom so much, because it's only like a 300 and something millimeter lens on it. So you'd have to get like a 600 millimeter lens.
Apparently,
Bo 4/3, I think.
Apparently, Bo just joined, and since he was one of the people that helped fund the drone, he's got to know this. Yes, something happened to our baby. A bird attacked it, died in the process, and broke one of the props on the Voyager 4. Otherwise, the drone is perfectly fine. Everything tests out fine. It's just not safe to fly at the moment. If I tried to put it up in the air right now, it'd probably either damage the drone as far as the actual motor that the broken prop is on, or it would actually crash the drone as it loses control. But it's nothing catastrophic. It's just trying to find a replacement prop, which is becoming cumbersome.
So we have two conversations going on here, but Matthew Meek, yeah, the P900 is an equivalent to 2000 millimeter. Like the raw focal length, I think, is around 300 and something. I don't remember exactly what it is. And it's got a tiny sensor in there. It's like a cell phone camera sensor, basically. So the large crop factor is what gives it that equivalent of 2000 millimeters. So I'm trying to figure out how you're going to get to 2000 millimeters. You have a 1000 millimeter zoom with a 2x adapter.
So it's basically a Barlow lens?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what 1000 millimeter zoom lens you have. What brand is it? I've seen some cheap ones out there, but I think you're going to have a hard time with even a 1000 millimeter zoom lens. You're going to have a hard time with depth of field. But one of the reasons that the P900, who makes a 10,000 millimeter zoom? Nobody. NASA. You're going to have depth of field. The bigger the actual focal length gets, the more depth of field issues you're going to run into. But yeah, I mean, if you can show me a 1000 millimeter zoom lens that's reasonably priced, I might actually pick one of those up. I mean, that's also like got some decent. I've seen some on Amazon. It was
there's the spotter scope option, which is kind of clunky to put onto a camera. But as far as dedicated 1000 millimeter zoom lenses, yeah, not so much.
Well, there are some really low end. This is it, Optica. This brand right here. There's some low end Opticas that you can get up to higher focal lengths, but
oh, he corrected it. It's 800 millimeters.
Yeah, you have to be in like broad daylight for these. See, this includes a 800 millimeter lens with a 2x converter to get you up to 1600 millimeters. They're kind of deceptive the way they do this. But I've seen some that actually get pretty close to the P900. Is it this one? No, that's also a two times. I've seen some that are in the $200 price range that get you up to around 1800 millimeters. But this is the problem you run into. You know, it gets really slow. Depth of field issues. Got to do it during broad daylight. Of course, the P900 is not any better at night. So when you start talking about actual good lenses that are long focal lengths, you start talking about big numbers.
Yeah, we're talking those things that look like, you know, cannons mounted onto a tripod.
You know what I have seen though is a let's see, I've seen it was a mirror lens is what they called it. It was basically a miniature Schmidt cast screen mirror lens mounts. There it is.
Oh, nice.
500 millimeter with a 2x. Is it for $100. I mean, that you put this right here on a large megapixel camera, and you could probably with the higher resolution get close to the P900.
Let me actually search for the model number of these props. Fun and Media is out of stock. They're in Europe.
I'm curious what I've always wondered about the depth of field on these, like what it looks like, because with my telescope the depth of field sucks.
What language is this? Because they say they have them in stock, but they're $20. But I can grab those.
Yeah, here, $100 for a mirror lens with the 2x adapter or 2x extender to get you to 1,000 millimeters. You put that on something with large, high resolution.
From a company called Dadco. Translate the page.
What you looking at?
It's Spanish. It's a Spanish website, actually. I actually searched for the model number of the propellers instead of just Voyager 4 propellers.
Oh, and you found them?
Yeah, they are in stock for $20 for a pair somewhere in Spain. Or no, where they at?
China, I bet.
What's country code 51?
No idea.
Lima,
Peru.
Cusco,
Peru.
Juliacia.
That's kind of crazy that they sell you a drone. You know, that costs that much money, and they don't. You can't buy propellers.
Well, on the devil's advocate side of it, they are trying to phase out the Voyager 3 and Voyager 4 in lieu of the Voyager 5.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still.
You would think that if they're still selling them, they should be still supporting them.
Yeah.
Well, let's duplicate that window, see if there's any other ones besides that company, because I really not want to go to a foreign country if at all possible, even though the Voyager 4 is made in China.
Adam said, soundly, it's a poor lens. I tried one. I guess you're talking about the mirror lens, Adam. Adam's been finding some deals on lenses, man. I feel like I need to move to the UK. 500 millimeter f8. Yeah. I mean, any one of these, I can tell you right now that you can, if you have 20/20 vision, maybe not 20/20, maybe a little better in 20/20, I don't know, but I can see the curvature with my own eyes, and it's a lot easier to see with my own eyes than in like a 50 millimeter photograph of the same thing.
Yeah, there's 3 companies that sell these propellers, and only one of them has them in stock. This sucks.
Check eBay for cheap Canon FD lenses because they're from the 70s and 80s. I wouldn't mind a 70s and 80s lens because they have good glass, even if they don't have autofocus.
Lono, the propellers aren't unique, so to speak, but they are proprietary. And since Walkera is not really a big drone company yet, yeah, not many places, actually no places actually carry them except for 3 companies.
Well, for anyone that's just jumped into the middle of this thing, started this off just talking about these flat Earth laser tests and what a joke they are and how they just haven't provided any results. They talk about all these tests like the Hungary test and Jaren's test, and they basically get a bunch of tests that turn into failures. They never report any results on it. And in the meantime, it is possible on the shorter distance laser test to actually be able to pull up a laser light from beyond the horizon. And I have Actually, I have footage, which I've told people at the beginning of this as well, that I have actually photographs showing the Marriott Hotel obstructed by 200 feet. And in the meantime, to the left and right on the horizon, you can see city lights being pulled up.
Oh, I actually wanted to address something that you had going on early on, Soundly. As far as you said that they accounted for curvature of the Earth, but I don't think he represented exactly what they did to compensate for curvature of the Earth on LIGO. Oh, well, so what I'm going to do is share the screen and actually show you what they had to do to compensate. So say you have the Earth here, and of course, not to scale, guys, just for demonstration purposes, they actually made a straight line, sort of like this. And the reason why they had to use special leveling techniques is because center of gravity always goes towards the center of the Earth. So at each point, gravity is slightly at a different angle for making a straight line. So they literally had to make it in small, little, tiny chunks, so they could level that off. So this would be an entirely straight line across the curvature of the Earth. That make any sense? Or am I just tired?
Oh, yeah.
But that's what they mean by they had to compensate for the curvature of the Earth and had to do special concrete techniques to get it all straight. They used level because I'm not sure why, but they should have just said to make it straight because they want the laser to be a straight line path. And if they didn't account for curvature, the tunnel would be curved down as the Earth curved from the origin point of the laser. So they had to make the tunnel straight, perfectly straight, which means they had to compensate for different levels as the path went on. Because effectively it's curving up is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Compared to the curvature of the Earth.
Compared to level, right.
So just wanted to clear that up because even the way they word it is incorrect.
Yeah. It's not level. Exactly.
It's not level.
It's straight.
It's straight.
Right.
So just to piss off flat earthers, it's not level, it's flat.
Yes. Yeah, so anyway, that was the point really of this hangout, or this little mini rant was just to point out that LIGO is the most sophisticated laser test, and it does in fact have to account for curvature. They shoot it through a vacuum, so refraction is completely out the door. Don't have to worry about that.
Stop presenting me. Carl, no, the tunnels are not curved. That's the whole point of them having to do special leveling techniques. Because it's not level, but it is flat. It is a straight line. And Jesse just hit it. It's a straight line that is tangent to the ellipsoid.
Exactly. It's exactly what George is doing, or was doing just a few weeks ago. He was creating a tangent to his observation point, and that's exactly what LIGO does. Except LIGO does it through a vacuum.
And Andrew Eddy just made a good point. If they were to actually put water in that tunnel, it would actually pull towards the center, even though it is perfectly flat.
Yep. I don't think they'll let me do that, though.
Why? Because the center is the closest to the center of the Earth.
Yes, it's actually downhill. Even though it's straight, it's still downhill.
Well, gravity speaking, yes.
Yes.
And Jason just gave me a link for maybe props. Those are Voyager 3s. No, they will not. They are smaller than the Voyager 4 props.
Well, Sean, if you don't find something, I do have these slightly used ones that I'll send you.
Mr. Upside Down Drone Flyer. And I'll say another big complaint about the Walkera drones. Their engine shutoff is the worst possible setup I could think of. Because with the Mavic, when it has the downward sensor, so it knows when it's approaching the ground, it'll actually figure out how high it is visually, hit the ground, and then it'll actually stop the propellers. The Walkera doesn't do that. You actually either have to hold down on the flight stick until it realizes, oh, I'm not losing altitude anymore, so I can go ahead and shut the propellers off.
Yeah.
Or you do the propeller cutoff motion, which is the right stick you push towards the bottom right, the left stick you push towards the bottom left. Problem is, the Walkera doesn't realize that it's on the ground, so it still thinks it's in flight mode, so it's trying to move the drone in all kinds of weird directions when you try to use that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very, very poor design.
Yeah.
The only redeeming factor for the Voyager 4 is its camera.
Yes.
Other than that, the drone is atrocious. It looks pretty, flies like a beast, and the programming in it is absolutely horrid. Make sure you balance the props before you ship them. I was actually getting to the point of desperation where I was actually going to have somebody 3D print some, or
I've actually thought about that.
3D print some and then have them carbon fiber coated. I've actually thought about doing that. So,
do you think you could take a pristine prop somewhere local and have somebody replicate it with 3D printing?
Oh yeah, well 3D printing that's fine and dandy. The only problem you're going to have is seating a new nut to actually screw them on. But yeah, if I can find somebody that actually does carbon coating or carbon fiber coating on stuff, I'm definitely going to have those props and invest in having that done to the props.
Well, be careful because I've already cut myself in my props.
Well, yeah, that's obvious that it can be done since it cut a bird almost in half.
Yeah.
Duct tape's not an option or any kind of glue because it's a weak point, and since they're creating lift, it will pull them up. You know, it'll hold them centripetally on to where they won't fly off, but they'll bend. Yeah, I actually ran that through the mental simulator of my brain, and it's like, no, they'll fold up and just cause all kinds of more problems. And if I was to use something to stabilize them so they didn't do that, it would add weight to the propeller, and I'd actually have to add similar weight to all of the propellers to keep it balanced.
Is it just one?
It's just one.
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
I believe it's one of the red ones. So
red ones.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, you just let me know. Hopefully you can find some new ones. And if you do find some new ones, let me know because I might have to go ahead and buy me another backup set if they're going to be going out of stock like that.
Yeah. Is it a special thread? That I don't know. I just know that they're self-tightening as the when you speed them up, it'll actually put torque on them. Which makes them a pain in the ass to get off eventually.
Mm.
And yes, I made a Belu joke when you were asking why you thought flat Earth was still a thing, and it's like only Belu knows the answer to that question.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing to me. It's like there's in the last 2 years, I've seen so many videos that have come out that literally every single conversation I get into these days with flat earthers, every single thing they say, I can picture the video that answers that.
I was watching the Anthony Roquette show today, and I was like, I can make 3 videos out of just this first half hour.
I've actually considered like just taking, like going through and taking all the objections, like just getting a list of objections, and for every like objection or every point they make, like create a video that says this is the point they make, and here are the 10 videos that you can watch that disprove it. You know, well, like just create an index of.
Well, just for an example, today on the Anthony Roquette show, they had Quantum Eraser, who's their in-house quote unquote scientist, talking about the atmosphere being next to a vacuum. And he accepts that the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner and thinner with altitude.
Right.
But then he's in the next sentence, he's talking about how higher pressure atmosphere will always fill the vacuum. Well, by his own assertion, he debunks himself because,
yes, why doesn't the higher pressure fill the lower pressure?
which means that all of the pressure in our atmosphere, if it was a closed system like the flat Earth believes it is, it would all be equal, no matter the altitude.
Exactly.
So, and yeah, but it gets worse because all of the higher pressure would like literally leave the Earth because he says, and he is correct, that higher pressure air will move into lower pressure or lack of air unless there's some force applied to it, which that force, which they hate to hear, is gravity.
Well, what I like to tell them is it doesn't matter. Okay, let's just throw that out the window and say that it's all buoyancy and density, whatever this magic force is that causes it. We know for a fact that it goes from more dense to less dense when you go higher. So
Yes.
there is a gradient. Whatever causes it doesn't really matter. There is a gradient. We can see that. So eventually that gradient fades to zero or close to zero.
Yeah, Charlie in the chat just said, strangely, the pressure underwater also goes higher the deeper you go.
Yeah.
And I actually used water as an example in the chat for that show because it also proves that there's a pressure gradient. Because, you know, the atmosphere is nice and compressible. It's squishy. Because, you know, there's plenty of room between the molecules where you can actually compress them. Water doesn't play that game. Water's non-compressible. But the pressure continuously goes up. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because of weight.
Yeah.
Which, you know, the density remains the same. Oh, what's this? I'm checking out another link from somebody.
Yes. Saw it come in too.
Oh, what language is this?
Is that what's that symbol? Euro?
Yes, it's 26.99 euros, so it's about $20. Articles in stock. What the heck is VAT? Is that their tax? What language is that? I'm not sure what language that is.
Translate it.
Normally Google will let you translate this stuff.
Well, I use the little pop-up translate, and that doesn't tell you what language it is, unfortunately.
What's DE, Denmark? That's their website.
Yeah, it's Denmark. Carl says it's in German.
Yeah.
Delivery time 1 to 4 days. Not overseas.
DE is the Federal Republic of Germany.
Ah.
I'd talk to GeoStreamer before I'd buy something from there.
Yeah. Hey, it's better than Nokia bucks. That would cost like 80,000 Nokia bucks.
All right, well.
All right.
I'm going to shut it down.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Remember LIGO, most advanced laser test proving the Earth is a globe in the world. So every time they bring up laser test, just remind them of LIGO. And let them cry about it and talk about how it's fake, even though they've never been there. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. And we will see you guys later.